All right, folks, welcome to our Super Saturday. Excited to have you here. My name is Michael Huggins. Excited to go over the Renatus business system and how you can start making $10, $20, $30,000 a month working from home, building a real estate portfolio. Now, why on earth would you want to do that? Well, we know that wealth is created through long-term stores of value. And storing your money in a bank in a savings account is not going to do it for you. But putting your money in real estate long term, watching it grow over time. Well, how are you going to get that extra money to do it? Because we know that the wages that people earn at their job, by the time they get the taxes taken out of it and they got to pay for their overinflated grocery bill, they have no more money left over. What are we going to do? Well, because of the Renatus business system, the ICM opportunity combined with the real estate education, you can now make enough money on the side, growing a business to buy a house or two or three a year. Now, some of our students are buying 10 or 20 houses a year. Some are buying more. Some are buying less. Now, some of the things we're going to cover today are on the business side of Renatus. On the business side, growing a marketing business as an independent contracted marketer. So some of the stuff we'll be going over are going to be brand new for you. And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's because you haven't done your 10-step training. You need to go into your business center, finish the 10-step training, go through what Mr. Snyder put together for you, and you'll see why we're doing some of the things that we're doing. I promise everything that we're here to show you and train you on is for your benefit, to save you time, to make more money, to have more fun, and to make more friends. That's what this system is all about. So if you're not making more money, you're not having fun, you're not making friends, you're not getting those results, it's probably because you're not following the system. The system has worked for thousands and thousands of people. Personally, I have watched dozens of people make $1 million or more with this program. And I know collectively there's been thousands of people who, tens of thousands of people who've gone through this program and have seen some type of result, whether it's a fix and flip, a rental, tax savings, debt restructuring, growing a retirement account. There's so many opportunities here, and the success rate is so high that if you're not getting what you want out of this program, you got to sit back and think, is it the program or is it me? I also want to give a caveat that I will, at some point today, go on a rant about lazy people. So if you are lazy, just be prepared for a little rant, but we're going to get into it. And like I said, the reason why I'm here and the reason why we do our Super Saturdays is it's part of the system. We just don't skip. Every single month, there is one Saturday where we dedicate a few hours to helping new people learn the system and helping people reinforce what is already working. So, with that being said, let's jump into it. We'll do some whiteboard action in a little bit, and then we have a special guest trainer today who will be joining us to help you understand how to find the money, how our customers can find the money, because that is the major hangup. It's not, should I join, should I not join? Will it work, will it not work for me? No, these questions are answered in the presentation in the one-on-ones. The real question is, how can I pay for it? How can I pay for it? That's what they want to know, and that's what we'll teach. So in about 30 minutes or so, we'll be switching over to our guest trainer, Mr. Richard Stock, multi-million-dollar earner, fix and flip investor, buy and hold investor. He's got short-term rentals, and he's done a ton in his 19, maybe even 20-year career now inside of real estate investing. So anyway, excited to have him here. And then we'll have a couple of special announcements towards the end. Saladio is expanding, so we got a few things coming up on deck for that. I got a secret project that, because you're here, maybe won't be such a secret anymore. And how to use the system to have more, like I said, more fun, make more friends, make more money, and do it in less time. Cool. All right, so one thing I want to make sure we're all working on is, if you haven't done it already, when you go into your business center, you need to renew your ICM agreement. ICM stands for IC Money. Just kidding. Independent Contracted Marketer. So you'll be greeted with an assessment like this. And this is really just to make sure that you are clear about the role as an ICM. There's not a job, it's a contract. So anyway, you'll go through those questions. There's also a fun little Christmas message from Mr. Snyder here. So if you haven't watched it, check that out. Quick little 5-minute announcement. And of course, we got the overviews here. We got our top 10. So I want to do a quick shout out. Congrats to Damon for being number 1. Mitch and Maley, congrats to you guys. David Christensen, looks like a snowman. All right, Becky Lambert, congrats to you too. Hey, there's Carla, she's doing it. Scott Rowe, number 6, congrats to you, mister. Fernando Sanchez, number 7 out of West Jordan. We got Ryan Dodge coming up in number 8 out of Texas. Mike Villas, number 9. And Jerry Myers out of South Dakota, number 10. These are our top 10 ICMs for the week. Out there making money, making a difference, enrolling people, growing their biz, and changing other people's lives with this fantastic information. Now over on the left, if you ever feel lost, come to the calendar. Come to the calendar. What it's going to do is on default mode, it's going to show you the things that are online or in your state. And then what I typically do is come right over here, hit clear filters so I can see everything. And here we are. Here's Super Saturday right here with us. There's also a property tour happening. Umair is going to be doing an online intro for guests. Denver's going to be doing their property tour later today. And then there is a recording happening for people to get checked into. There's all kinds of stuff all over the country. Almost every day of the week, there is something happening. Denver workshop, property tours, mobile homes, meetups. We'll be picking up the study groups next year. That sounds funny because it's only 2 weeks away. But you'll start to see the study groups. See, we got a study group right up here. Those will be on Mondays. So anyway, if you ever feel lost, come to the calendar and it'll show you what you should be working on today or next week, what to be prepared for. Okay, one other thing is in the training tab right down here. This is where you'll find your 10-step. This is what I was talking about earlier. 10-step training. Okay, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Utilize the system. Okay. Attracting wealth. This guy, Mr. Snyder, just put it all together for you. So you got to ask, why are some people making 10, 15, 20,000 a month and I'm not? It's probably because you're not doing these 10 steps. So anyway, he does a great job, spends the day with you. Now, what I do is I watch it on double speed. Okay, just click on this little gear right here and then bump it up to double speed, put the captions on, and now you're reading it while he's going at double speed. It's going to make the difference for you. At least it does for me. So I highly recommend, if you can, or 1.5, and get the most out of the time you have in front of the computer because you don't get to do it all day. You got a life. You got friends and family and kids and animals and hobbies and jobs and obligations and all kinds of other stuff. Another resource for you that is underutilized is the regional section. Coming into Helios, click on training and go to regionals. And you'll find some great trainings, the regionals and the nationals. Some great recordings there to get you caught up to speed, different lingo, different things that we're doing. And spend some time in there. Okay, sweet. And this will keep popping up until I finish it. So I will finish it. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, those of you who are just joining us, welcome. Let's get this party started. Okay, one other thing I want to make sure we have covered is the, where did I put it? Where did I, oh, right there. cancel this. A couple announcements about the sale. The Renatus big time, big deal, biggest sale ever deal. There we go. Happening now. Also just released 2 more classes into your business center. This, folks, the education just keeps getting better, keeps getting updated. And there we go. There we go. Okay. This one right here. Got it all together. The Cash Epics combo price during the sale period, which is from now until the end of the year, December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time, is when the price will go back up. And you know what they say? They say buy the dip. So here we are. One thing to point out here is that as you're going through your different modules, your different how we should say the different campus, the different what do they call it? Learning path. There we go, like a major in college, the learning path. You're going to go through all these other classes. Now, one thing that we get to add on to all of this is software. You get AI to analyze your deals, bring you leads, help you run your numbers. You get 6 months of the software plus one-on-one coaching for 6 months. I guess I can make that 1/3. 6 months of one-on-one coaching as well. So when you are pointing this out to people, you know, some people will pay $20,000 for just one-on-one coaching. They don't get the software, they don't get the video library, they don't get the study groups, they don't get the other things with different companies and different programs. But for us, we're a one-stop shop. Seriously, every piece of a real estate business that you need is inside the Renatus platform. It's a beautiful thing. So I think this slide is what you should take a screenshot of and send it out to as many people as you can. People got to know. And how would it feel to have somebody call you up ready to go and they could have saved $5,200 off their purchase if you'd let them know. So do that. Call them. It used to be $25,991. Now it's on sale for $27.82. Now there's a lot of essential students out there, and you could get the entire upgrade package for only $18,923. They've sweetened the pot because they've added a nationals ticket for every package. Whenever another package is bought, that person receives a $400 ticket to the 2025 National Conference, which is really important that you put this on your calendar, right? We are 15 weeks away from the National Conference. If it's not on your radar as a thing to attend, you need to reconfigure your calendar for March. This is most important, March 20th through 22nd. If you've ever wanted a boost, a rocket boost, not just shifting a gear, but a rocket boost to your business, it's going to be at Nationals. This is where all the top investors, top marketers, all the instructors, the CEO, the home team, all the top Renatus royalty, as we'll say, they're all going to be there. I meet people year after year who say that because of the Nationals, they have more deals. They found capital partners. They found deal partners. They found operational. They found the right kind of training, the right kind of people. They launched different markets because they met somebody. They decide, hey, well, you live here, I live there. Let's put a team together and start doing a weekly meeting and growing a business. All that magic happens at a thing like Nationals. So put it on your calendar. Make it a big deal. Don't skip it. In fact, I'd skip a meal. I'd skip 3 meals and not skip the Renatus National Conference. So last thing here is tell everybody. Send them a text, send them a call, send them an email, knock on their door, corner them at a holiday party. get the announcement out there. Okay. And those of you who need to renew your ICM agreement, if you joined as an ICM after June 1st, you only have to pay $125. If you enrolled after October 1st, I know there's a bunch of new people here, there will be no dollars out of your pocket, but you do need to have a signature on the 2025 agreement. That is required in order for us to pay you. If you don't have an active ICM agreement for 2025, when the commissions come out, they will just go to head office. They'll sit there for 90 days. If no one claims them, then it gets forfeited to HQ, to headquarters. So stay up on it, renew it so we can pay you. Speaking of getting paid, let's head over to the whiteboard now. I want to share with you how I look at this business and this opportunity as how we should say it, as an agency, so to speak. There we go. Hijack this over here. Sweet. Let's make sure my fancy pen is working. Okay. All right. I got a backup. You know, here's a piece of advice an old wise man once told me. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Oops. Stop this for a second. Let me get this reloaded. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Okay? That could save your life. 2 is 1, 1 is none.
2 houses are 1 and 1 house is none.
Exactly. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So anyway, always whenever there's a chance to get 2. So, you know, case in point, my Apple Pencil's not working right now. So I'll grab that second one and we'll get it working. Oh, beautiful. All right, let's switch back to the screen share. Got a few more people joining us. Welcome. And cool. Yes, we're going to capture this. Okay. There we go. Back to the whiteboard. Okay, that's working. Okay, so I'm going to give you the business plan and the mindset to win this approach. Okay, and then from there we will jump into finding the money for our customers and maybe for your own upgrade because you don't want to miss out on this 20% off. And then we'll get into the next phase of that. But I'm excited to hear from Richard here in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. And okay, so first let's do a little what if. All right, so here's you. And here is a better future version of you. Future you. Okay, and you're standing on a cliff. And there's this other version of you. And there's some treacherous situations. This is a fire, right? Because you could burn your butt. There's also probably some alligators that are trying to get you. Maybe there's a shark in there, right? It's just a whole dangerous situation. My art skills are in a different realm. Anyway, there's a gap between you and the future you. Okay, there's a giant gap, a schism, if you will. How are you gonna get across to the future you? By the way, if you want this this future you to say thanks to the past you. You know what you got to do? You must invest. Investing is like self-love. Investing is self-love. It's an act of love. If you don't invest, that is one of the most selfish things to do. You're just constantly eating what you grow and you don't invest. It's a dangerous way to live. So we have to invest. And we want our future selves to thank us. We need to invest. But the question is, how do we close that gap? Now, here's the thing. As our economy changes and we get into things with AI and we get into different investment things and marketing and the whole structure, the whole system changes. If you don't pay attention, this is what's going to happen. The gap is just going to get bigger. And as time goes on and more loopholes are closed, the haves and the have-nots is going to be a greater and greater gap. The longer you take to close the gap, the bigger the gap gets. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? There is urgency in this time. Think about this. 60 years ago, 70 years ago, right, when our grandparents were little babies growing up, were there as many chances to become a millionaire back then as there is now? Or are there more chances to become a millionaire now? Way more chances to become a millionaire right now, right? Dozens and dozens of different avenues to go down to be a millionaire. But if you were alive in the 40s and the 50s, how are you going to be a millionaire? There was no e-commerce. Okay, there were no uh, AI opportunities or crypto, or I mean, the banking system, the way it was, you couldn't go and borrow the same way. There were no debt service coverage ratio loans for you to go buy income producing assets off just the income that it produced. There was not as many opportunities to become a millionaire as there are today. But now think, because of the acceleration of technology and things like AI, 10 to 15 years from now, when the few companies that have control over the situation are left over, you know, the Googles and the Apples and the you know, the Teslas, the few tech companies that are left over, they're going to, the situation will change and there'll be less opportunities to be a millionaire. There's like this there's like this distribution chart. You guys have seen that, right? We are in the most opportune time right now. This little window right here, this tech window that we're in. Okay. The way to make money from home and grow and buy as much real estate, grow a business the way you want to grow. It's huge. But 20 years from now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I want to just live in reality. 20 years from now, Wall Street will have bought most of the houses in America. You know that? 1 out of 7 single family houses is purchased by Wall Street in America right now. Do you think that's going to go up or down over the next few years? Soon it'll be 1 out of 6, and then it'll be 1 out of 5, then it'll be 1 out of 4, and then every other house that's being sold in America will be bought by a hedge fund and sold to somebody in a stock portfolio who doesn't see themselves ever owning a house because it's going to be too hard, too difficult, too outrageous, too much competition, not enough property, scarcity, and the gap's just going to get bigger and bigger for people to become millionaires. The time is now to work, to acquire, to accumulate, to build, to serve. So don't waste another month or another year or even another week. The time is now. So anyway, let me clean up my little move this piece all the way over here. Get back to my one little guy. There we go. So like I said, as time goes on, the gap gets bigger. It gets harder to close that gap. More alligators and sharks. Fire shows up. Okay, how do we close the gap? How to close the gap? How to bring your future you closer? How do we do that? How do we close this gap? Well, I tell you, it's going to be having one big difference in closing this gap. Robert Kiyosaki talks about it all the time. It's called the cash flow quadrant, ESBI. This is the poor side. This is the rich side. Okay. I know poor is like a trigger word for some people, and that's okay. I think we should use it more often to trigger them, to remind them, stop being poor. You're in America. There's something you can do about it. You know, people are fighting tooth and nail, waiting in line, traversing the craziest situations to get to this country with a chance to become a business owner and an investor and have money work for you. And you're already here. So let's use it. Let's use this opportunity. So the thing is that we are born into this mindset socially to be either self-employed or an employee, right? Do it myself or work for somebody. But if we really want to be rich, it has to be through business ownership and investing. Business ownership means own the system, and investing means own the money, simply. So the cool thing here is that Renatus education platform is teaching you how to own a system that produces a profit, and then you're going to put that profit back to work so it makes its own money, and you're going to take some of that profit to put into another back into the system to grow the system to make more money. And the rich are going to get richer, and the poor are going to get poorer. Like I said, that gap is just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to be harder and harder for people to get wealthy and get out of the system over the next 10, 15 years. That gap will be enormous and hard to traverse again. This is the time. This is our window of opportunity. Okay. So some of the skills, some of the gap closing skills for where you are and where you want to be is in this, talking about this B mindset. Okay, let me bring this down here. Let's talk about that for a second. What does that actually look like? Well, think about what Mr. Schneider is offering us as an ICM, as an independent contracted marketer. Okay, we got corporate headquarters over here. And what do they provide? They're going to provide the product. They're going to provide the customer service. They're going to provide accounting and some tax document for our tax returns. We're not going to do all accounting, but for the business side, we're going to get some paperwork from them. What else do they provide? They provide fulfillment. Okay, they provide development, right? They're constantly developing programs, updating classes, customer service. They got a whole team of people who, when you call in or you email in or you chat in, that gives you the information and guide your customers. They're giving us a process, and then they're handling all sorts of things like payouts, merchant accounts and different technical things that we don't have to deal with. Thank goodness. We get this whole big package and more for $197 a year. Okay, that's what they're going to offer. And what we are going to offer in return is people. Okay, we pay the $197. They give us the environment to work in. Right, this is our environment. Environment spell. This is our environment. This is our beautiful. There we go. This is where we get to work. Our environment, so to speak. $197 a year. And the agreement is cool. We'll do that. Whoops. As long as you bring the people. Oh, okay. Bringing the people. So now, as an ICM, we have what are called money-making activities. MMA, money-making activities. And the first one is find people. And then what we're going to do. That was my little tennis here. Then what we going to do. What are we going to do next? After finding the people, we tell them a story. Now, what kind of story? The story could be a fix and flip story, could be a rental story, could be a tax story, could be a debt story, could be a credit story, could be a retirement account story. It could be a wholesale story, it could be a revenue story. It doesn't matter. Just a story. Okay. Then we're going to build for an event. What's the event? Well, if you like working with groups, we got group events. If you like doing stuff on your own, you're going to build your own event. Your own event could be a one-on-one, could be a Q&A, could be a funding workshop, could be a real estate workshop, could be a Super Saturday. All right, we've got a bunch of you here. We sent out the recording to some others who couldn't make it, but I still want them to come to this event to hear the information. Build for an event. We got, I started out earlier. What event? For nationals. The end of the contest. There's so many events. So you're going to build for an event with that customer or with that conversation. And then you're going to follow up. And the follow up is where all of the money is made. You could generate all the leads. You could get them excited. You could get them to an event. But if you don't follow up, you are not going to get paid. The fortune is in the follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. So, I started out going over the top 10 ICMs and telling them all congrats going through that today. You know why they were able to make more money than the rest of the teams? Is because they followed up better. They followed up better. Okay, if you only have 1 hour to work today, should it be on finding new people? Should it be on telling stories or building for events? No. If you only have 1 hour to work today, it should be on following up. Who did you already invite that hasn't said yes yet? Who have you already invited that attended that hasn't said yes yet? Who have you invited that hasn't attended that needs to be followed up with? So you're going to follow up in each of these right here. You're going to do a little follow up to make sure that they're understanding the story. Then you're going to do a little follow up right here to make sure they're coming to the event. Then at the event, you're going to do a little follow up to make sure they come to the next thing with you. And you're going to follow up, follow up, follow up. The fortune is in follow up. Okay, so that's our role as ICMs, is find the people. And we make a great case for why they should get into real estate, why they should pick us. You guys have all been to different presentations, so you've seen the angle that we take and why it's necessary for people to get involved with us. And so quite often, they say, great, I'm in. So we get the yes. After we do enough follow-up, we finally get the yes, I'm in. And you know what? For me, that was one of the scariest yeses I've ever said. because that meant I had to spend more money than I've ever spent. And I had to do things I've never done, and I had to try things I've never tried. So it's a scary yes. And so I can still remember being in that situation that when it's time for me to ask and get another yes, and I can put myself in their shoes for a minute and say, hey, remember what that was like? Let me give you some time saving tips. Let me shortcut your experience by a couple years if you just do what I say. Now, us as the ICM, we get to hand off that person to corporate, and corporate will give them the product and the customer service and do the accounting and the fulfillment and the coaching, the development, take care of their process, do all the payouts, and more and more and more and more. And then, so that's student world. But we also want them to maximize the Renatus opportunity. So we want them to become student marketers. We want them to be a marketer with us too. Because as a student, you can make money with your real estate. As a student, you're going to develop a system as an investment and make money. But as a marketer, you can also own a system that pays. And this one is more people oriented. So now you have two income opportunities that are working well with each other. When it's time to market, you tell a story. What kind of story? A story about real estate investing. While you're out doing your real estate investing, who are you going to meet? Who are you going to meet while you're out there running your real estate business?
The checkout guy at Walmart when I was buying some stuff.
Right. You're going to run into all kinds of people, realtors and vendors and contractors and, stagers and repairmen and inspectors. You're going to meet so many people out doing the thing. You need a video made or a flyer, the drone operator for the photography. You're going to meet so many people. And instead of just leaving it surface level with, I'm a real estate investor, please do the thing for me, load my cart, take my pictures, do whatever, take it one step further and tell a story. You could tell your story. You could tell the CEO's story. You could tell your 5-star story. You could tell the company's story. Company has a story. You could tell a fellow ICM story, a friend that you made. But a story, telling a story to these people will get them to open their eyeballs. And they'll be like, wait a minute. You were broke a year ago and now you're doing a fix and flip? You were broke 2 years ago and now you got 3 rentals? You were riding the bus before you met this program and now you got $1 million worth of equity? How? So when you tell that story, all these people are going to say, how did you do it? I want some of that. And then you bring them back to, see, now that you've told them that story, then you're going to bring them back to an event. What kind of event? Well, it depends on which team or which area or which day, your system, what you like to do, but there's all kinds of events. I'm going to list them out real quick, and then I'm looking at the clock. We're going to switch it up for a minute, and we'll transition to a new trainer, and then we'll bring this back here. But what type of events? We have Cash Flow 101, which is this Cash Flow 101 has made me $1 million over a 10-year period. Easily, I could say it because of the cash flow game, the amount of real estate, the capital, the students that I found, huge, huge, huge. So I know Richard and Mitch run a cash flow game in Utah every once in a while. I think first Tuesday of the month or something. He'll come out and tell us. I know that the Denver team does cash flow games. I know the Arizona team does cash flow games. Here in Tennessee, we do cash flow games. So cash flow is huge. Okay, then we got the intro, or some people call it the EPIC, EPIC, which stands for Education, Properties, Income, and Community. Okay, and I'll be going over the income side of this as well. We also have workshops. Okay, Workshops can be in person, they can be on the Zoom. In fact, depending on who you're talking to, you might have a recorded workshop that you have someone watch that night and then you follow up with them in the morning. But the workshops could be several hours long. Maybe they're only 45 minutes, depends on what we're shopping. Some workshops are 6 or 8 hours. You go over to the Chicago team, you're spending 9 hours on a workshop Saturday, but you are getting a fire hose of information. Some workshops are free, some workshops are $50, some are $100. It just depends. There's just sometimes a cost involved in doing the workshop, and so we're all going to pitch in a tiny bit. That way the event can happen. Our next online workshop for the system here is going to be January 4th. We're going to be having Bill Predabon talk about how he's raised tens of millions of dollars, do's and don'ts for protecting yourself, you're covering your assets, and but then there'll also be workshops in your area. So just stay tuned for the calendar. There's also Super Saturdays. Like today, we got some people who have heard about the marketing side, heard about being an ICM. Should I, shouldn't I? What else does that entail? How can I double up my real estate by being a marketer? Well, that happens at the Super Saturdays. We also have property tours. Some property tours are only online. Some property tours are in person. Some are a combination. Those combos are a little hard to run, I tell you what. So any team out there that's making their property tours available online while they're in person, big shout out to you. Thanks for doing that extra work. Okay, in addition to the property tours, we also have regionals, which we just got finished with, a couple of those around the country. We also have what's called Leaders Retreat. The Leaders Retreat is somewhere usually tropical. Someone was goofing around with the idea of an Alaska cruise for a Leaders Retreat. And we go see the Aurora Borealis or something beautiful up in Alaska. And do like a 7 or 8 day cruise. You get to write the whole thing off. We'll have a bunch of investors and instructors there to teach, train. We'll make it a great day. Anyway, maybe it's at a resort on some island. But anyway, the Leaders Retreat is a ton of fun. And this year we got to do it in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So that was great. We also have nationals. And this year it's going to be March 20th through March 22nd in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's going to be fantastic. Hundreds, if not 1,000 people. If I had it my way, it would be 2,000 people there or more. But anyway, there's going to be all kinds of resources, people, ideas, stuff that you need to grow your real estate marketing business. Then, in addition to that, there's going to be, there's like 15-minute calls that will be done. There is, I know Mitch and Maley are doing an awesome challenge, so that's an event, right? It's a 90-day event, but that's an event. Building for events. One thing you need to also have on the event calendar is the follow-up. If I haven't emphasized it yet, let me do it here with some fancy green dollar signs. The fortune is in the follow-up. Do your follow-ups like you mean it, like your life depends on it, because your business life does. Asking for the sale, getting clarity on their questions. Most people have buying questions and then they have training questions. And so you got to separate those buying questions and the training questions so that you can get them in. Because if we don't sell them, we're not able to serve them. So anyway, that's plenty of events. I know that there's also, some people will do a CRP, cash recovery party. There's also people who are doing the drive parties. Okay, so we got plenty of events to build for. And then and then in the follow-up mentality, your one-on-ones or your two-on-ones, depending on if you got your 5-star working with you. The one-on-ones are going to be the money makers as well. Okay, so the principle of this events section, the principle here is always book a meeting from a meeting. You are at the meeting with your guest. Then it is time to book that next meeting. Always book a meeting from a meeting. Okay, there'll be times where I'll have 2 or 3 guests at one event, and shaking hands, meeting people, making them meet other people, and grow, helping them grow their network right there. And then one of my guests I see quietly tiptoeing out to their car. I'm like, oh, hold on a sec. Before you go, what did you like best about what you saw? And they're like, oh, this is all great. I want to do this. I just need to go home and think about it. Okay, great. When are we meeting again? Right? I'm asking for that meeting at a meeting. Go from one meeting to the next meeting. And if they say something like, oh, well, I'll get back to you. Is that a booked meeting? Is that a booked meeting? No. If they say I'll get back to you, I'll call you. No, that's not something you can put in your calendar and schedule around and make sure that it happens. So I'll say, well, that's great. But tell me when. Do you have time tomorrow? In the morning? Afternoon? I usually like to just go right for tomorrow morning. I've made a lot of money from just saying tomorrow morning. Some people want to give them a week or 2 to decide, 4 or 5 days to decide. No, no. It's I get that you want to be perceived as polite or caring or conscientious. I get it. I'm all of those things too. And here's something I'm clear on is that before they came to one of our events, they had been thinking and pondering in their life about real estate for a while. They had been thinking, how do I get some of that real estate money? So since they've been thinking about that for a while, then I finally get them to an event. Let's go, baby. We don't need to wait another week or a month. You've already been thinking about it. You've already been wondering how. And now that you've found Renatus and you found the right system and you found the right trainers and the coaches and the community, you found it all. Let's meet tomorrow morning and talk about how to pay for it. I love that we can turn this entire system, living a fun life, into a business. In fact, I'm reminded when I see Earl's beautiful face this morning, I'm reminded of how he got involved in this community, how he was introduced to us because he wasn't necessarily looking. He didn't click on an ad. There wasn't a radio advertisement that came on that told him to go to a website or anything. So Earl, if you're in a spot to quickly share your story about how you were found, who found you, how they found you, and how they got you to come to an event, and just your quick little version of how this came into your life. We'd love to hear it.
Sure. Thanks, Michael. Yeah. Real quick, I suppose. I was studying computer engineering. I graduated in 2016, and then I wanted to. I knew that getting a job in engineering might pay well, but I knew that wasn't how the wealthy get wealthy. So how did I do it? They get involved in real estate investing. Learned from Robert Kiyosaki with the cash flow quadrant and such. But I joined a Bigger Pockets forum, and that was a cool forum and all. But someone reached out to me on there, and they're like, "Oh, I see you're in Denver. You're in Denver. Would you like to come check out one of our events?" And that was back in February of 2019. I was planning on moving to Denver, so he wasn't exactly accurate yet. But I had already while I was visiting, I came down to an intro that Michael was hosting, and went and met some of the instructors. It was Gary Cannon was one of the instructors that I met, and he taught land development. And I was like, this guy knows his stuff. So a couple months later, I moved to Denver, and I also became a student right away. And the rest is history. And I've got let's see here, I'm at nine deals of my own, and then plenty more other strategies that I've combined to really scale my business and continue investing.
Right. You're not doing little deals, right? You're doing several, up into the $500,000, pushing $1 million deals.
Yeah. I've got deals I'm partners on that is like worth like 3 mil. Um, here in Colorado, in New York, in Arkansas, kind of all over.
Cool. And what made you decide to also be a marketer? Because I know you've made some sales before and helped more people get started. What did you see that
Sure.
you were like, I'll do the marketing side too?
Yeah. The marketing was, I think, just a well. First of all, I always tell this to everyone that Michael Huggins's marketing trainings are the best in the industry. Like you could go to college and get a marketing degree, and it's not going to be anywhere near as good, and you'll
Nice.
pay more money. So just like listen to Michael, and it'll cost you a fraction of the money if you wanted to do sales and marketing. That's not even my forte. But it comes naturally as part of investing in real estate because real estate's a people business, not a property business. So when you're interacting with all these people, which honestly, if I could reduce, I would. But while you're interacting with all these people, they are often interested and curious about what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. And it just becomes natural to be like, well, I'm learning from this education. I'm learning my classes. Did you know that these this and this and that? And I just like to share information and share the knowledge and share the wealth.
So you just started out with a did you know? And it goes from there. And then you invite them to an event and you do the follow up. You introduce them to this person, that person. You ask them for the order. Fantastic. Well, congrats to you, Earl, on your deals thus far. And thank you for being a wonderful member of our community. I know a lot of people have benefited, especially in the Denver area, from your participation. And so we're happy to have you here. And also working on our secret mission. I'm excited about that too. So more to come, folks. More to come. All right. So I think now is a great time to transition. Everyone, shake it off, take a deep breath, yeah, take a sip of coffee. We're going to get into our next trainer today. And he is the big boss dog. I I really admire our next trainer. He helped me in several ways. One thing, when I first got started out, and I see this with a lot of new marketers, is this mental, I'm going to call it a dis-ease, right? You're not at ease when you have this in your mentality, and it is caring about other people's opinions. You want to be perceived as a good marketer. I get it. And so how you are perceived matters way too much to you, so much so that you stop working and you get into this frozen inaction. You have this huge desire, but no action, and you have this giant gap between where you are and where you want to be, and it's all because of worrying about other people and their perception of you. And that was something I was dealing with in a big way. And so being able to work under Richard Stock, listen to the trainings, the calls, the Zooms, the workshops, the things that he put on while I was brand new, changed my perception of what it takes to be a marketer. You know, he while I was sitting there worrying for an hour, he would go and close a sale and make 10 grand. And he just didn't worry. He didn't worry about what people thought of him. What he was worried about was doing the right thing. And that is buying real estate for him and his family and spreading this good word about the Renata system to his American fellow citizens and making sure that as many people heard about it as possible. A couple of years went by and I got to do some more deals and grow, my team and start making some money. And we were at a regional one year and we were doing this award ceremony and I decided I'm going to surprise Richard with a little custom made trophy thing. And what do I call it? My great grandpa had recently passed away, and my grandma was giving away a bunch of stuff, and I had this really cool bronze horse thing that I didn't know much else about it, but I thought it was cool. Hey, let's mount it, let's put on a trophy thing, and what should we call it? And I decided to call it the Doesn't Give a Buck Award because it's a horse, bucking around like a crazy bronco, and it doesn't matter what's happening. It's going to do its own thing, and I realized that's Richard. Richard is a genius in his own right. He's a workhorse. Like I said, he's a bulldog. He doesn't give a buck. Uh, and the guy has made millions and millions of dollars in real estate and marketing. He gets to be a stay-at-home dad. He has some wonderful boys that have just, greatly benefited from his time and presence by being a stay-at-home dad. And one thing I really love about him is that he said he was going to build this life, and then he did it. He didn't just talk about it, but he worked at it, and he worked at it. And now he gets, to benefit and enjoy that lifestyle, and he's impacted thousands of people around the country. So one thing I asked him to do today was come and share, how do you help your students who say, I'm in, I love it, I see the package, I see the program, I see the coaching, the material, the community, I want it, but how do I pay for it? He's got the answers. He's done a great job of that and putting a system together. So I'm going to turn this part of the time over to the man of the hour, Mr. Richard Stock. Good morning.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Michael. Excited to be here. And guys, we are going to have some fun. I need to come in. We're going to share this. Can you guys see that there?
Find the money. Love it. Yes, sir.
Okay. So here is the thing, guys. We are going to spend about the next 45 minutes or so going over this one topic. For me, this is where it becomes really, really fun. As I sit down, as I work with people, because, as Michael said, there's a lot of times I just don't give a buck. I really do not care. When I was taught this business, it was the BAMF model, BAMF, bad a mother, right? Having that mindset with what we do. One of the things I absolutely hate when I sit down with people, and I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this, is I hate when people are not honest with me. Right? How many of you love when you're talking to people and they are not being honest, that they're just kind of hiding behind stuff, right? We all hate when we're in that situation. And so going back to the, I don't give a buck attitude on stuff, what I realized was this: if I can't help people, I can't help them. If I can't serve them, I can't help them. And too many people are afraid to serve people, be able to point out the obvious, to actually be honest with them for the first time. Some of these people in a long time where people haven't been honest with them, and all it does is hurt people. And so as Michael asked me to come out and talk about this, I do, guys. I love finding the money. And so I want to start off with this. Why do and I want you guys to ask these questions yourself. Why do I need to know how to find the money? Right? When we go, if you get really good at this, your whole business is going to change. Why does Deborah? Why does, Keyshawn? Why does Earl? Why does Jenny? Why does Jessica? Why do I need to know how to find the money? And the first thing is very obvious. And the obstacle that keeps most people from investing is they say they don't have the what?
Money.
They say they don't have the money. So they're saying they don't have the money. And yet we turn around and say, what? Well, we can help you find the money for the education, right? We can help them go through and do it. But they're like, so great, you can help me get the education, but you can't help me invest in real estate? And so when we sit down with people and say, hey, not only can I help you find the money to get the education, we're also going to help you find money to go out and invest in real estate. This is what naturally happens when we do it. Consciously and subconsciously, they now realize they can do it. We are taking one of the biggest hurdles that people have up here, right? And say, oh man, I would do it, but I don't have the money. We're getting rid of that obstacle and then subconsciously helping them realize you do have the money. You can go out and do this. You can have the success that you want to have. And then when we also look at it, it's this: inspires confidence and belief in you. If I'm going and I'm asking someone to say, hey, you know, to come all in with Renatus, but then I can't help them find the money, does that inspire confidence in me? No. As the person trying to get them started, no. If I can't help them do that, but yet we tell people that in the classes they're going to learn how to raise money to invest in real estate, but I can't help them find the cash, 20 grand, 26 grand to get started, they're like, I don't know if this is worth it. So the biggest difference that I have found doing this now, whether or not it's, January 1st, 2011, I got started, is this. I spend a couple minutes asking questions. If people were to say, what's the biggest difference between you and your team and what you do? What's the biggest difference? Guys, the biggest difference is we just spend a couple more minutes on this section, helping people find the funds. When we help them find the funds, they're like, I can invest in real estate. I can do this with nothing coming out of my pocket or very little coming out of my pocket on a monthly basis, which those are two words or two little sentences, guys, that I would write down and get really good at saying. If you could come in and get all the education, and I don't say number one, but first point here, with very little to nothing coming out of your pocket on a monthly basis, that wouldn't interest you, would it? If I could help you come in and get the education with nothing to very little coming out of your pocket on a monthly basis, that wouldn't interest you, would it? What is everyone going to say? Yes. But now we have to be able to do it. So if I sit down with 10 people, I am going to find the money for 9 or 10 of those people. Every single time I'll find them the money. Now, the question that comes down to that point is this: are they willing to actually do what it takes to go get that money? And so what I want to do is I want to go through, guys, this is how I find the money. This has not changed. I know some of you are like, well, I've seen this before, but guys, you are going to realize I do. When I go to find the funds, I do it the same way every single time. Now, why would I do it the same way every single time? Goes back to the whole KISS principle. Keep it stupid, or keep it simple, stupid, right? When I'm talking to myself, keep this thing simple. I do it the same order because now I don't have to think about it. It naturally comes out. So I'm going to go through these 14 ways really fast. Then I'm going to explain how we do it. So if I sit down with someone, it's a checking account, savings account. Always go there first. Number 3, it is going to be a HELOC. Number 4, 401k. Number 5, IRA. Number 6, I guess the next one, HSA, right? After HSA, current credit cards. Next one, life insurance. It was like, that one's up there twice. Signature loan, title loan, love money, other investments. Now, when I say other investments, what do I mean? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, gold, silver, CDs, not polar chips, poker chips, and crypto, right? Next one that we look at, creditcards.com. Next one we look at is third party. Okay, so this is the way I do it, and it's almost in this order, guys. If you were to go back to the first trainings, the first ATM training I did with Michael 13 and a half years ago, about June or so, 2011, this is almost the exact same order as I did it back then. Why? Because if I come out and I know the order, I do not have to think about the order. It inspires confidence. It inspires belief. So if I'm sitting down with somebody, I want to go through some things we cannot do. Number 1, We can't take this list right here, and I can't go and give it to Deborah and say, okay, Deborah, how much is in your checking account? How much is in your savings account? How much is in your HELOC? Do you have a 401k? Do you have an IRA? Like, we can't do that stuff. Why? Because we don't have the licenses to get in and find out everybody's personal information. So how can we do it? And how can we do it legally and compliantly to not get ourselves in trouble? Number one, as you do this, get to know how other people funded their education. Who do you know in the community who has gone all in? Get to know their stories. As crazy as it sounds, the more creative they have got to find the funds, the better the story is. I mean, guys, I've had people that have had fourplexes paid off in the middle of, nowhere, let's say in Tennessee. I mean, Michael actually remembers this guy, Stan Johns, right? Stan Johns, he knew he had money in a retirement account. Someone else was trying to get in. They had a property out in the middle of Tennessee that was paid for, bringing in about $3,000 a month. They wanted to get started, but they had old 401ks. And all of a sudden, Stan Johns is giving this person money to pay, to secure the properties on the fourplex. As they took the money secured on the fourplex, they paid down their current 401k. As they paid down their current 401k, or their old 401k, they paid that loan off. Then they turned around and got all the money out to turn around, buy the education, turn around and pay Stan off. Like, I realize that's how many of you are like, holy crap, there's a lot of moving pieces in that, right? But guys, here's the thing. The more creative things get and the more we can share some of those crazy stories, the better it is. It starts opening up people's minds. So when I sit down with someone, if I'm sitting down with Deborah, I'm going to say, okay, Deborah, here's what I want to do. As we go through, we might, as we go through in the next 3, 4, 5 different suggestions I have, you might be able to find the funds. Now, if we get to the point where we found the funds and you don't want me to keep going, tell me to stop. And then we'll just go ahead, we'll get things rolling. If we get through the first couple ways and we still need to continue going, we will continue to go to help you find the funds. So here's what I want you to do. As we do this, I want you to write down. See, if they're writing it down, it does a couple things. As we go and as we do this, I want you to write down what is available, what you have in these different areas. Because if they go to write it down, I'm not asking them what they have. But if they go and they start writing a bunch of things down, what does that tell me? It tells me, okay, there's options that are there. There's something that is there. So I'm not asking them what it is. As they're writing it down, I see there's options that are there. Then at the end, you guys will see how this works. So I'll say, okay, Deborah, here's one of the things I want you to do. Is as I've sat down with everybody, and if I'm talking to a couple, I'll have, the husband write stuff down, I'll have the wife write stuff down, or the two partners write stuff down, whatever it is. Because one time I made a mistake as I was working with a couple. We went through, I assumed it was just him, right? And as I assumed, and I was just talking to him, we get through, and there was literally nothing. Like, there was 1 or 2 ways we could have done it, but it would have been a little, really, really close. And then at that time, his wife said, well, that's his situation, here's mine. And that was a big aha moment, because I'm like, well, you guys have been, I just had assumed, my assumption, I assumed they had been married for like 25 years or whatever, right? So they were talking about their kids in their 20s and stuff. I just assumed that. And she stopped and said, well, that's his situation as he went through the bankruptcy. But see, we just got married 2 years ago. Here's my options. And then all of a sudden, he had only 1 or 2. She basically had every one of these options available. And that was a huge learning lesson for me when I first started. So if I'm sitting down with them, I'll say, okay, some people as we go, they have multiple checking accounts, they have multiple savings accounts. I want you to go through and look at those and see, write down how much money you have in each one of those accounts. Now, after you do that, if they tell me they own their own home or they have rental properties, I will say, okay, the next step that people do is they look at how much they owe on their home versus how much the home is worth, and people will be able to go and they will be able to get a HELOC on their home. Next one, 401ks. A lot of people, they go and they look at their current, they look at their 401ks. And here's where I'm different with this. I always say at your current job and at old previous jobs. Now, if it's at your current job, here are the two rules. Rule number one, maximum you can take out is $50,000. So if you have $50,000. Rule number two, maximum you can take is 50%. So if people have $50,000 in their current 401k, most they can take out is $25,000. If they have $500,000 in their 401k, maximum they can take out is $50,000. Now, if it's an old 401k from a previous company, now there's a bunch of options that are there. It can be self-directed. It can be a 60-day rollover. You can still, and a lot of people don't know this, you can still take out 401k loans from a previous company with a previous 401k. You can still take 401k loans out of there. So a lot of people will go look at all of their different retirement accounts they have. They start looking at how much money is available or how much money they have in each one of those accounts. Next one people look at is they look at their HSAs. A lot of people don't know with your health savings account, you can self-direct that by real estate. You can actually use HSAs too. Also, we've had people use their HSAs to buy the education as they've turned around and done that. They will look at their current credit cards. Now, a lot of people, as we sit down, they might not have $25,000 available on one credit card. But what they do is they will look and say, okay, on Visa number one, my credit limit is $10,000 and I owe $4,000. Visa number two, credit limit $7,000, I owe $2,000. They'll literally go through all their credit cards. They will look at their current credit cards, see how much is available between all of them. Other people with their current credit cards will also turn around and they will just go in to where they pay their bills online. They'll go in and they will ask for credit line increases. People use credit line increases all the time, usually on an introductory offer, which is also really, really nice. So people will go in, they'll look at their current credit cards. They will also look at doing credit line increases. The next one, other people will use their life insurance. Now, this isn't your term life insurance. This is your whole life insurance policy, right? That people turn around, they use that to invest in real estate. One of my guys, Ben, he came in, his first year, he did 25 flips with us. Second year, he did 50 flips. Now he owns over 250 rental properties. He now is doing public speaking all across the world. The guy's absolutely phenomenal. How did Ben get started? His whole life insurance policy. Next one, signature loans. Now, I am not talking about going down to a bank with a signature loan. I'm not talking about, a bank. You want to go and look at a credit union. So a lot of people say, I bank at multiple credit unions, or I have one or two credit unions. They will go get a signature loan, which is going to be based off your credit and based off your income. Based off of those two things, qualify, you get a signature loan. Next one they will look at is they will look at a title loan. They might have a side-by-side. They might have a car. They might have a trailer. They might have a boat, where they look and they say, well, it's worth $60,000. It's worth and I owe $10,000. It's worth $40,000. I owe $10,000. There's $30,000 equity, so they will go in and get a title loan. Now, when I say title loan, this is at a credit union. I'm not talking about 123 Main Street, you know, where it's 500% interest a year. We're getting a loan through like a credit union, something like that. Other people will look at what I call love money, okay? As I say love money, when I'm in Vegas, I have to specify the difference between love money versus, you know, the other type of money, right? So as we look at that, now when I say love money, guys, I also want you to put kind of slash joint venture. So Deborah, who do you know that you feel is paying way too much in taxes? Who do you know that hates their job? Who do you know that owns a home that would love to start implementing velocity banking, right? These other things. So then I will go through, you know, Deborah, you know, and I'm just looking at Deborah because she's kind of there front on my screen here. But like Deborah, who do you know that, how many brothers, sisters, how many siblings do you have? How many of them own a home? Now, Deborah, do they love you? Do they trust you? Yes. Okay, so if they could take their home that they still owe 20 years off and they could pay that off in 5 years, that wouldn't interest them, would it? Well, yes, it would. Awesome. Let's get them down here. So, and if we go through, guys, when we go through these options, if you have any questions, I'm going to have you guys come out on mute and ask me any other questions. Okay, other investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, gold, silvers, CDs. Okay, here's a fun one we had, poker chips. Okay, when I was living down in California, and this happens a lot, especially in states where there's a bunch of gambling. I didn't realize this. Poker chips expire over time. So poker chips are only good for X amount of time. Well, this guy, he was kind of he was a scumbag in my own personal opinion. He had gone out, him and his wife, or he had made a ton of money in his business, and he ended up going through a divorce. But in the divorce, he didn't want his wife to get a bunch of stuff, and he wanted to hide a bunch of his money. What he ended up doing, they were accustomed to going to Vegas all the time when they were married. So he started taking money out of other accounts she didn't know about, or she knew about, but because of the gambling habits they had, he'd take that money, go to Vegas, cash in the money into poker chips, take those poker chips down to another bank, put those poker chips in a safety deposit box. Well, he kept on doing this over and over. He'd go back down, take the old poker chips out, go trade them in for new poker chips. When everything was said and done, he had kept without, and I don't agree with this, but I'm just giving you guys ideas, he had over $1 million in poker chips that his ex-wife's attorney had thought it all being gambled away and didn't have the money anymore. And as soon as the divorce was over, went in, cashed out his poker chips, went and bought him a Ferrari, went and bought him a brand new house, and then after all that was done, he ended up using that money to get started with the education, right? Now, I don't believe in, I don't really agree with doing that, guys, but poker chips, right? Guys, then there's also crypto. Sat down with a guy a week ago. He has, he didn't feel like he has a bunch of money. He has over $100,000 sitting in crypto. The other one I'll look at is, as I go through, I'm talking to people, credit cards. Creditcards.com. Now, this is new credit cards. How many of you, Mr. and Mrs., how many of you have, credit card offers that come to you all the time in the mail, right? So go to creditcards.com. You're going to go to the 0% APR, and I walk them through it. So we're going to go to creditcards.com, 0% APR. As you look at that 0% APR, 0% 15 months, 0% 18 months, 0% 21 months. People will go to creditcards.com. Then the last option that we look at is going to a third party. Now, when I say third party, I use a guy here in Utah. His name happens to be Bo and Eric. Okay, these guys literally are 10 minutes from my office. Then other people like use Eric accounts with what he has, going to a third party to get those funds. So as we go through this, I walk through each one of these things. Then here is what you need to do, and this is why you have to understand people's stories. So Earl, so if I'm talking to Earl, right, I'll say, well, Earl, do you remember Jenny who you met last night at the event? Earl's like, yes, I remember Jenny. Well, this is how Jenny funded her education. Boom, 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 boom. This is how, when you met Matt last night, this is how Matt funded his education. Boom, 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 boom. So now they're looking at it, they're like, oh, that's how Jenny funded it. And she took money out of that old 401k, or she did this, or she did this. And if that's how she did it and she was successful, I can do the same thing. Oh, that's how Matt did it? And Matt's this successful? If he did that, I can do that too. And here's what's awesome when we do this, and when you guys start doing it, is this. Almost every time. Okay? Almost every time, we not only get them the money they need to buy the education, what else do we help them find the money for? To go do real estate transactions. So, there's the balloons we're celebrating, right? So what ends up happening is this. I have no money. I can't invest in real estate. I don't have the money to invest in real estate, but they just help me find the money to get all the education. Oh, so we got balloons, we got rocket ships, right? Next year, there's more rocket ships. Is now what happens, okay, what these guys teach, what they're helping me do, it actually works. All of a sudden, their confidence goes up. I couldn't find the money. Now I found the funds to get started. Now that I found the funds to get started, they're also helped me realize I got $40,000 that I can use to go do a short-term rental. I got 40 grand I can use to go do this fix and flip, this wholesale, to go do this subject to seller financing, lease options, buying and selling notes. All of a sudden, they're like, woo, I can do this because they have the education, they have the support. The only reason I thought I couldn't invest in real estate is I didn't have the money. Now they help me find the funds, not only to get the education, but to do real estate, I can what? I can do this. And this is why it is so critical that you guys become really good at finding funds. Getting really good at asking these questions. So, as we kind of go through this list right here, what questions do you guys have for me on these different ways? What questions do you guys have?
So polar chips are actually poker chips.
Yes, poker chips.
Okay. You have polar on there. I just wondered if those were interchangeable.
Yeah, no, I didn't. When Michael was talking, I was kind of typing this up when he was training earlier, and I accidentally hit the L instead of the K, and I didn't spell. Didn't look at the spell check before I did. So yeah, so that's going to be poker chips, right? And the only reason I do this, I don't give that example of the poker chips, right, when I'm talking to people, but the reason I put it up there, Doug, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, gold, silver, CDs, poker chips, crypto, right? Number one, people laugh. But number two, they start thinking about a bunch of things. I will have people going through this and they're like, well, I don't have life insurance. And I don't say this next part like mean, okay? But some people be like, well, I know my parents, they're getting more seasoned. I already know my parents have already told me I'm getting X amount in my inheritance. I've had students go, mom and dad, they're seasoned. They already know they have an inheritance coming. When I go through this other investments, people be like, you know what? My parents would probably give this to me as part of my inheritance. I'll take part of my inheritance when? Now. So the reason with the other investments I put out there is it really gets people's creative juices flowing on how I can find it. You know, other investments. I'll also go through, guys, I've had people, and Michael's had a ton of people do this too. What do you have you can sell? Right? I've had people sell old cars they don't drive. I've had people go do garage sales. They just get rid of a bunch of crap to collect funds, right? To be able to get started. So as we go through these different ways, it really gets their brains thinking. So yeah, so not polar chips, that's poker chips there, Doug, okay? Any other questions on this before we take it to the next step? Any other questions? Okay, if not any other questions, here is one I did not put up. What did I not put up?
The built-in financing or in-house financing,
Yep, in-house.
Yeah, why would I not put up in-house financing?
because it's too easy.
That's that
Okay.
slow money.
It's what, Michael?
It's the slow money.
It's the slow money. Why else don't they do it?
Pay more for in-house financing versus having paid cash.
Pay more, right? Guys, literally in 15 years now, I know we haven't had in-house billing since the beginning of the company, but we've had other forms, other third, like as I say, third party guys. This is like my guy Bo and Eric here locally that do it, like Eric Counts. When I say third party, that's what I mean there. We've had previous companies kind of like an in-house billing. But guys, here is my belief, and this is a belief I want you guys to get. As soon as you get this, this is going to be one thing that's going to make your business take off. In-house billing is doing them a huge disservice. Why? It's 37 G's. 36 G's. Well, I don't even know what it is. What is it? 36, 37 G's. It's a hell of way too much money, right? It's way too much stinking money. Why not get them, instead of paying 36 grand, why not give them to them at $10,000 off? Plus, here's the other thing. What happens if people stop paying? What happens to their education?
You lose access.
They lose
Temporarily.
access. So now someone's paid $23,000 into this thing. They get fired from their job. They can't pay their payments anymore. And now what happens? They don't have access to the education. When I got started, guys, I went all in and I had no money. I was negative $7,000 a month. I had 60 to 100 collection calls coming in every single day. I got the funds, and this was my attitude. If I'm going down in a ball of glory, right? I will lose everything, but what do I have? I have the education. I have the knowledge. So as I'm working with people, guys, even if they're like, Richard, I am seriously like 2 months away from declaring bankruptcy. What do I do? Honestly, I think the biggest thing you can do is go all in. Because if you come and you take those funds and you go all in, even if you declare bankruptcy, what do you still have?
Education.
I still have the knowledge. I still have the education. I can still go out and do this. Now, how many of you literally have the cojones to turn around when someone's getting ready to declare bankruptcy and say, best thing you can do is get the education? Right? When I'm saying I'm doing people a disservice, making them pay $10,000 more, plus there's also this. This is a selfish reason. Okay, Doug Cook. Do you want to get paid $200 a month for the next 3 years, or would you rather get paid 12 grand next week?
12 grand, please, next
So
week.
why are we putting them on in-house billing? Guys, what is the biggest, why, guys, and I seriously say this with all the love of my heart. Why do you want to get paid 10 grand this year when you can get paid 100 grand? For doing the exact same amount of work. But when it comes to getting paid, we don't have the confidence to spend 2 more minutes with them.
Hey, may never get the 100 grand because they may stop paying and fizzle out and get discouraged and never complete paying.
Yes, plus now, do they have something on the line? Yes. Now when someone goes all in, what is the only way they can write off the full 23 grand their first year? They have to go make 4 grand minimum net profit. Now, all of a sudden, do we have now another reason to say, you need to come in and build this business with us? Yes. If they only got 2 grand on the line, hell, what's 2 grand? I got 26 grand on the line. There's a whole heck of a lot more on that line. This is the biggest difference, guys, when you look at what I've done, because this is how I was taught in the very beginning. Break free of your enroller ASAP. Break free of your enroller ASAP. If I'm asking somebody to come in and invest 26 grand, and as soon as it comes to the money, guys, and subconsciously, I can promise you this is what happens. All right, you've been to the event, awesome. I'm going to turn around and give you to Michael now. Because I can't help him find the funds. Now, guys, I understand we're going through 5-star qualification or turn them over to somebody else. But guys, when you are 5-star and now you're always pushing it off on somebody else, what we don't realize is this: subconsciously, they say they can help me, but they really can't help me. And that's what happens subconsciously up here. Does that make sense? So it's always, hey, come get the money, and then boom, always go to one person. It de-edifies ourselves. So when we get to know the stories of so many other people and how they funded it, how creative they've gotten, guys, the more creative it is, the better it is. Because this is the other thing that happens. Man, their life must have been a mess. I can get mine of these 2 spots. If there goes the balloons again, right? Celebration. If they did all of these things to get creative, and they were able to go out and crush it, and I can do it in this way or this way, man, my life's not a mess. I can also do what? I can also go out and crush it. So it's bringing, as we help them find the funds, it brings a lot more confidence and belief in you as the enroller. Yes, Doug can help me, Earl can help me, Deborah can help me, Jenny can help me, Jessica can help me, Josh can help me. These people, not only can they help me find the funds, this education works. Now, here's the other thing. What happens? Well, dang, I only got $5,000 on a credit card. The next one on here should kind of be and I got to come up with a fun name for it. It's kind of like the jumbo package, right? The jumbo package. What do I mean by the jumbo package? Well, here is Jeff. Just follow up. This is what it is. The dude rents. He's getting married in a month. He has $4,000 available on credit cards. What order are you guys putting in? Someone help me out. Sit down with Jeff. This is Jeff's situation. What order are you guys putting in?
$401k.
What?
Look into his 401k.
Okay, he doesn't have a current 401k.
Things like Cash Essentials is the easy, obvious.
Cash Essentials, or people are going to do what? 4K, I can do what? Basically in-house billing, right? Is that where most people are going to go?
Hey, how do you get the balloons? I don't get balloons.
I know that people just love celebrating me, man. Like, I got the universe behind me, Michael. I put up the peace signs, I put up the 2 things. They love it because they're celebrating, because everyone's like, woohoo, we can do this, right? I don't know why it comes up. But guys, honestly, what are you going to do? How many of you are like finance essentials? Or there's the money sign. That's what I need. Peace sign goes up, 2 fingers go up, money comes up, right? Guys, honestly, please be honest. This is the situation. What are you guys going to do? What order are you putting in? Be honest with yourself, please.
I'm gonna do cash essentials.
Okay, cash essentials. How much is that going to pay you, Earl?
If you're a 5-star, it's 1,000,
Sweet.
give or take. Give or
Okay.
take.
Earl, this is where things are going to change. Okay? I'm going to show you this in just a second. Here's Maui. This is one, guys. This is one with Mitch. Okay? This is Mitch's order. The guy rents. He lives paycheck to paycheck. No current 401k. Owns a truck. Owes $48,000. He could sell it and he could get paid $42K. By the way, both of these I could go show you in my back office right now. These orders are in the system all in. What questions are you going to ask? This is why I love what Earl did. Earl's like, this is how I would do it. Earl's going to get paid how much? By putting in a cash essentials. How much is Earl getting paid? $1,000. This, guys, and I say this seriously with all the love of my heart, and Michael, he does the same thing with this. I can tell you guys, Michael and I do not have the biggest teams in the country. We don't. But guess what? We're in the very top in income. Why? Because we spend 2 to 3 more minutes and go through this. Here is what happened. Here's Jeff's situation. Here's Maui's situation. This is how we had Jeff go all in. Jeff went down, got a title loan on his truck. He had about 10 G's that he could get on a title loan. He got a signature loan, put the rest on his credit card. Now, here's another thing that's key that you guys have to do. I know here in Utah, Arizona, Idaho, I know they're doing this right now. With Mound America Credit Union, if you put things on their credit card in the month of December, you get triple points and rewards. So this is what they're doing. This is how Jeff's doing it. Oh, by the way, without any money coming out of his bank account in the next 12 months. He got the credit card that now has triple points. He got a signature loan. And then he got a title loan. As he did it, he went down to one credit union, got a title loan, another credit union, got a signature loan, Mountain America, he got the credit card. He went, got a signature loan. He got that one, went to another one, got a title loan. Then he put it on his credit card, giving him triple rewards. As he's getting triple rewards, when it's funded, he's getting like $1,800 back. Cash in his bank account in 30 days. That takes care of his monthly payments. Because instead of just going checking account, savings account, current credit cards, 401k, now we're going now we're going in-house billing or third party. So, I mean, when it comes to your truck, how much is your car's worth, right? The title loans, signature loans. This is how Maui is doing his. And we didn't have time to get into this. Maui had forgot, he doesn't have a current 401k, but he has a previous 401k from a job of like 15 years ago. And with it, he's doing what's called a 60-day rollover. Then he's getting a signature loan from his credit union. It's only gonna be like $4 grand. And money's tight for him. So he's having a family member give him a couple grand. Now this is what's happening. 60-day rollover, he's getting 18K. Signature loan takes care of the rest. Maui works as a mechanic at Ken Garf. He cleans at home every Friday, and there goes the peace sign instead of money signs, right? There goes the balloons. So he works at Ken Garf as a mechanic. He works at cleaning a house every Friday, and then on top of that, he works at a gas station. He's paycheck to paycheck. But now he has the love money that he's borrowing from a friend to turn around and make those monthly payments for the next year. From asking a couple questions. Here's what's crazy. This last Tuesday at the house tour, Maui comes. Guess who also shows up at the house tour? His brother, who bought essentials 4 years ago from another ICM. Why do I say that? Write this down. If you do not talk to your family and your friends, somebody else will. Vince could be getting paid on his brother's order. Vince did not invite his brother down because he judged his brother and said, oh, he wouldn't be interested. He didn't invite him down, so who's now getting paid instead? Mitch. Mitch invited Maui down. Mitch is making the full commission. Instead of Carl, because Vince didn't invite his brother down to turn around and do it. It's not all going to be $40K on these 4 credit cards. Sometimes we got to look and say, okay, there's 8,000 here, there's 7,000 here, there's 4,000 here, there's 6,000 here. Then we combine those and bring them together. Then when we understand buying the education, is it a tax write-off? Is buying the education, is it a tax write-off? Yes or yes? Yes. So here's then what I encourage my people to do. I have them say, okay, so Michael, can I just go a couple more minutes? Are you cool with this?
Yes, sir. You're on a roll. Keep going.
Okay, so then here's what we do. So they're going, and let's say I'm working with Michael. And I asked you, Michael, I want you to kind of role play with me on this just a little, okay? Because Michael, how did you find your education?
Are we role playing or am I really answering?
No, just and this one, how did you do it? How did you find your education?
I used, on your list, it would be Love Money. It was a family member, but then it was kind of similar to Maui, where my family member didn't know that they could use an old 401k from a previous company. So they went and did the rollover, got the access to the money, and then lent it to me, following the right rules for retirement account stuff. And then we set it up to where it was no payments for 2 years because I still didn't have any cash flow. So I had to learn it and go through it. So it worked out. And then 2 years go by and I paid him back. Instead of the 25 grand I borrowed, I paid him back 50 grand. And the best $50,000 I ever spent.
Yeah, right. So in that example, guys, here's the thing. Now, I will tell you this, we don't have time. There's a difference between a 60-day rollover and there's a difference between a 401k loan. And there's also a difference between that and also self-directing it, right? There's 3 different things. Don't have time to go into all of it. So now, Michael, let's kind of do this as a role play. Now, I know maybe you remember your numbers or just kind of go through. So, okay, Michael, so I understand things are paycheck to paycheck. I'm curious, Michael, and just go to a W-2 job right now, okay, instead of what you're doing now or whatever. Michael, I'm just curious, do you ever get a tax refund?
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, how much is your tax refund each year?
Oh, they always give me back my money, you know. They give me back about $5,000.
Okay. So now, I just want to show two things right there. Did I ask Michael how much he gets back in the tax refund? No. Did I still find out about how much he gets back in his tax refund? Guys, here's the difference. I can't ask Michael, how much did you get back on your tax refund? Cannot do that. That crosses a line. Michael, I'm curious. Do you ever get back a tax refund?
Yes.
Michael, if you don't mind me asking, how much is that about? How much you get back each year?
Oh, well, you know, a couple thousand usually.
I like Jethro's voice before. Jethro's voice was a lot better, okay? So now here's what it is. All of a sudden, we got Michael over here. I admit, sorry. Last night, waiting for my boy to come home, I did watch Leave It to Beaver and the Beverly Hillbillies, okay? So I like the Jethro voice a little better. Earl's like, the Beverly Hillbillies, Leave It to Beaver, what the heck, right? Anyway, so now Michael's getting back $4,000. Does that make sense? Michael, in that example, is like, or actually with Jethro, you got back your about $5,000 a year, right? Right, Michael? Okay.
Yeehaw.
So now, actually, just for fun, I'm just going to call you Jethro since you brought out the voice. Okay. So Jethro is getting back $4,000 a year. So Jethro, let me ask you this. Do you like giving the government a tax-free loan each year of that $4,000?
Heck no, I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. They give me money.
So at the end, how would you like to get that money every single month now and get a $300 a month tax-free raise?
Well, heck, I'm not even quite sure I understood the question.
Okay, so when you go to file your taxes, you get $4,000 back each year. Is that correct?
That's right.
How would you like to break that $4,000 up and now get back about $300 every single month and not get a big $4,000 check back at the end of the year?
Are you saying have my money now instead of have my money later?
Yes.
Well, sign me up for that then.
Okay, so Jethro, here's the best part. Do you want to pay for the education or do you want the government to reimburse you for the education and have the government pay for your education?
Well, heck, let's have that government there do it. That's what they're there for.
So, Michael, here's the cool thing. You're going to go, and I walk him through this. Okay, as you go in, Jethro, you're going to go talk to your HR company and ask them with your W-4 at work how much you need to increase it to get an extra $150 per paycheck extra. Okay, now for you guys, that's usually most people claim 0, 1, or 2 is what most people do. When Jethro goes in, talks to his HR department, here's what's going to happen. If he's claiming 2, they're going to probably tell him to bump it up. See, celebration. The universe is, going with this, right? Instead of going with the 2, they'll probably encourage him to go up to 3, 4, or 5. So now here's what happens. He goes increases his W-4 from 2 to 5. Now he gets back an extra $150 per paycheck. Does that make sense? What's 150 times 2?
300.
300. Michael gets a 0% interest credit card. He has his signature loan. He has a title loan. He has all these different things. Is an extra $300 going to usually cover the education on a 0% interest credit card? Is that usually going to cover it?
If it's 0%, yes.
Yes. So now, or if he has to get a title loan or a signature loan or put it on a regular credit card, is that going to cover the majority of that monthly payment?
Yep.
Yes. So now when we're going through and we help them find the money, we can say, so you'd love to do this with very little to nothing coming out of your bank account on a monthly basis. Is that correct? Yes. So now they increase their W-4. Now they bring in an extra $300 a month. Their payment's $200 a month. So even after they buy the education, how much more money do they have hitting their bank account every single month? An extra $100 a month. Now it takes 6 months to go out, 8 months to come in with the first flip challenge or whatever you guys are doing in your areas. Now they come in, they have a monthly payment of $200 a month for 7 months till they close on their first transaction. What is 200 times 7?
14.
1,400. Now they close on that one transaction, they make enough money, turn around, pay back all the education or the majority of the education. How much money came out of their pocket to buy the education? $1,400 a month. Not how much, not 26 grand. We leveraged it. We paid 26. We leveraged it these other ways. Now through marketing, now through real estate, what happens? They have a $200 a month monthly payment or $300 a month, take 6 months, close on a deal. They come in, they go out, start talking to other people. They now have that extra money coming in each month. Then they turn around, get someone signed up, they go all in, they now just got paid over 4 grand. Is that 4 grand going to take care of the payments for the next year? To buy, how they finance the education? Yes. So now, guys, people can literally come in with the power of marketing, be able to get all the education within literally a month to 2, 3 months worth of monthly payments at $200 a month. Go sign, get somebody to come in, sign up. Now they get that 4Gs. That 4G takes care of their payments. Let's say it took them 2 months to do that. 200 times 2 months, $400. The education cost them $400. Now they got that extra 4 grand. They use that to make the monthly payments. They go have that next person come down, not finance, not essentials, go all in. Now they just got an extra $5,600. Then the next person that comes down, 6 Gs, 6 Gs, 11 Gs, 12, 12, 12, 12. Or, sorry, Earl, can I pick on you? Or Earl can get a check for $1,000 because he's 5-star qualified. Earl, do you want $1,000 or do you want $10,000 or $12,000 for basically doing the same amount of work?
I'll take the more, please.
Yes, and guys, it comes down right here. Spending 2 more minutes with them, 3 more minutes. Understanding, ask the questions. This is kind of going to be their situation. Get a little creative, because isn't that what we teach about with Renatus, is how to creatively invest in real estate and creatively do deals? Is that what we teach? Yes or yes? Yes. So we teach people to be creative, but then it comes to one thing and be like, nope, it's just in-house billing. Sorry, dude, you're screwed. No, take 2 more minutes, figure this out, and then bingo, we go right here.
I just, can I share a story?
Yes,
Very
please.
quick. Yeah, I just closed on 2 buildings next door to my 2 other buildings in the last 2 weeks. And I got paid to do it. I did not put any of my own capital in that I wasn't able to quickly pull that back out. And yeah, that's a great story. I mean,
No, and see,
yeah.
here's what's awesome. You're doing it with real estate. Now we do the same thing when it comes time to find the funds to get them in the education. It just takes them a little more. Now, guys, I'll also tell you this. I'll give somebody back $1,500. I'll give somebody back 2 grand. When they go all in, I'll give them back a check for $1,500. I'll give them back a check for 2 grand. Why? That turns around, takes care of their monthly payments. How many of you have paid 2 grand to make 10 grand every week? Plus, they're also like, man, these guys really care about me. Man, they just made my life easier. I just got all the education for nothing coming out of my bank account because I use the power of leverage. This is why it's fun, and this is how you make the bigger paychecks. This is how you go from making $10,000 a year to making over 100 grand a year by spending a couple minutes longer and truly caring about their success. When they feel these people are trying to truly help me, their confidence goes up, their belief goes up, now they come in and now they buy. With very little to nothing coming out of their pocket on a monthly basis.
Amazing.
Okay, Michael, I'll turn around, turn it back over to you.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And what he just covered in that list is what I've covered 1,000 times in a one-on-one. And just walking them through, and they'll see right there that most of the time they can put together the resources, and that it's just in their head when they say things like, I can't. Well, we also know that, that's potty mouth language. We don't say that in this house. We don't say can't. That's a no.
And it's the same thing, guys. Honestly, in-house billing, that should be a big no. Guys, I've done less than 10 in 15 years. If that's the only option, we go that way. In-house billing should be potty language, right? Like, we shouldn't do it. Like, I don't ever bring it up. I don't ever bring it up. So, Michael, are you going to bring up Bob's announcement on Monday?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point here.
Without going into everything, Bob's making it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, before we do that, we also have something that you and I are working on for the nation. Have dates been set for that, or do you just want to talk about what's coming?
Dates have been set, but special announcements are coming.
So everyone just needs to tune in on Monday.
Tune in on Monday, and be paying attention to the different groups, Facebook pages, because some great things are happening.
Sweet. Okay. So yeah, folks, one thing that I admire about Mr. Snyder is he's always adapting. He's always adjusting to situations, to feedback, to whatever students or the field need. And so he's changing how the Monday schedule flows. So the Founders Live is going to adjust a bit, and we're going to actually make it a thing that you can put guests onto, and then of course rally up your troops and get them all on board with it as well. And it's just going to be a much bigger value add than what it has been. It's been great, being able to stay connected, see them once a week, get the announcements, get the lessons. If you show up early, they have comedy before they start the recording. So one of the benefits is showing up early. But like I said, they're going to adapt it and make it even more relevant and valuable. And so having the ability to have a guest meet the CEO and see the home team in action is definitely going to change their perception and help you make more money. So getting butts in seats. Now, when you're thinking about who to talk to, here's a few questions. Here's a few questions to help you get your brain organized and focused on the right answer. So I just put them up here in the whiteboard. And so this is part of your assignments now. Sit down and make a list. Who do I know that is paying too much in taxes? And start writing down names. Okay, and as I was writing this out, I'm already building my list too. Who do you know that still has a mortgage? Now, why does that matter? Well, because of velocity banking. Think about all those other people that could be saving on interest, having their houses paid off, or using different equity mechanisms to make more money, right? Hitting it from both angles. Who do you know that has no free time? They miss every soccer game, they miss every ballet recital, they miss all of the everything. They just constantly strapped for time. Their schedule doesn't work for them. Okay, make that list of people. How about people who don't have positive cash flow? Ugh. Inflation is just eating away at their paycheck. And if you don't have cash flow to combat that, you're hosed. Okay, make your list. How about people who waste money on rent? They'd love to own. They'd love to build equity, get the tax write-offs, get the benefits of ownership, but they don't know how. They're stuck in rent mode. Okay, make that list of people. This is probably the biggest list you can make is who wants to retire early. You know anyone that wants to work till 75 in their chosen occupation? Most people want to retire early. Now, people like Bob Snyder, they're weird, right? They work and work. and when they have all the money, tens of millions of dollars, made $100 million in business, and they still work. Okay, unique ducks for sure. And thank goodness he's around so that we can benefit from the system. But how many people, want to retire early, right? They're in their 30s and they say, oh, by 45, I want to retire. Or, they're in their 40s and say, by the time I'm 50, I want to retire. Just trying to get retired before 65, early. How many people want to do that? There's a huge list of people there. You take this entire list here and share a story like what Earl just shared, right? Remember the system, find the people. I'm going to abbreviate now. Find the people, tell the story, build for events, and continuous follow-up. So right here, we found the people. It's a nice little list of people. But now what story are we going to tell them? Like you just heard Earl's story, and I kind of missed it. So I want to hear it again. You bought a property and
Oh yeah.
got paid to do it, or
Yeah, this is fun. My neighbor was in trouble and couldn't pay her mortgage, so I raised the money to bring her caught up, to get her caught up and out of foreclosure. And then I took the property over, took over management and took possession of it, subject to the existing mortgage, so I didn't have to get my own mortgage, and I didn't have to get my own money. And then she took less money than what it appraised for, so I got a $40,000 equity payout at the end of it. By the time I'm done, well, actually, I'm all done now with the fundraising. So she was able to exit her equity, get out of the property, save from getting a foreclosure. I was able to help her. I was able to help other people get into this property as well. And now I manage it and I collect a 25% property management fee out of the top line revenue, and then the rest gets distributed to the investors.
amazing. So Doug, could you, in a nutshell, repeat that story, since telling the story is one of the money-making activities? You say you got a friend on the line. You know what? I just heard a cool story from Earl, which inspired me to want to do more real estate investing. I thought I'd share that with you.
I'm sorry, I missed. I was, my brain was wandering as usual.
Amazing. I also breezed right through all that. So I can go a little bit slower, but I got into I manage, so right now I manage, before I managed 2 of the buildings on this block. Now I manage 4 of the buildings on this block. I'm working on the 5th one. And then the other 2 are public housing. So I'll work with the city on that one. But on this one, which is right next door to my other ones, the owner was in trouble. She was in pre-foreclosure. She was 3 months behind on her mortgage. It triggered the pre-foreclosure, and they charged exorbitant fees. But I was able to help her by taking over the property. And in order to do that, I had to raise enough money to get her caught up on the mortgage, right? Pay all the fees that the lender was charging, which was ridiculous, like a bit predatory in my opinion. And then I also took over the payments of her mortgage. So I didn't assume the mortgage, I just took over the payments. And I was able to raise the money from outside investors to cash out her equity so that she can go put that towards her other property that is also about to be in trouble. But maybe I can help her with that one as well. That's that other property, that 5th property that's on that block. Then I'll own the whole block, which is fantastic. But yeah, I got in with no money and none of my own credit. I'm borrowing her credit because I took over the payments of her loan, and she was able to cash out, just solving problems. And I got possession of another property. So now I've got 11 units under my control on that block, and they're all short-term rentals. So I got mini hotel. I don't have a front desk or anything, but mini hotel.
Right. So while people are out there trying to put 20% down, qualify for a mortgage with their fancy paycheck, Earl's out here
I got paid to do it.
buying properties and getting paid at the same time. So if I'm out there and I'm just thinking, like, one of the people I need to talk to today is my cousin. Okay. Cousin Jacob. He works hard, but he's renting. He's living in a basement. He's got 3 babies now. And he's working paycheck to paycheck. I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? You have no time. You have no free time. You're paying too much in taxes. You're wasting money on rent. You don't have any positive cash flow. Well, let me tell you what Earl just did. My buddy Earl, who he doesn't have deep pockets necessarily, but he thinks differently. He took one of the trainings that we offered and was looking at different properties, and something hit his radar. In fact, one of his neighbors was 3 months behind on their payments, and they're about to lose that property to foreclosure. And he said, well, hey, wait a minute now, let me reach out to them. He followed the script that we supplied in the classes and found out the problem. At the same time, since he didn't want to use his own money, or maybe he didn't have it, but whatever, regardless, he raised some money, applied it to this woman's situation where she could get the money out of the deal that she wanted without having to bring in a bunch of realtors and new lenders and all these extra closing costs. And she transferred the ownership to Earl. She took a little bit of money. But what's even cooler is that along with the ownership transfer, so Earl could own the property, get the cash flow and the rental and the benefits long term, in the short term, he also got paid to buy that house. Now, why on earth would you go around paying to buy houses when you can get paid to buy houses? Now, if you want to see how that works and why people like Earl are having so much success, we're doing a workshop next Monday at 4 p.m. where our CEO is going to go over the whole process, who we are, what we do, and why we're so successful. Or next Saturday, we're going to have a property tour, and we're going to go over how the whole thing worked, how we found it, how we raised the capital. And so if you want to come, you could be my guest. You can come and join in the fun, learn how it all works, so you can start getting the benefits. This is what I like to say. So you can start getting the benefits of the program. So you can start getting the benefits of the program just like me, or Earl in this case. Just like me or Earl. That's how we phrase it. So it stays compliant, so you're not like promising. So you can get paid to buy a house too. No, that's promising a result. We're not quite there, okay? But what you can say, so you can start getting the benefits of the program. Right? Well, what are the benefits of the program? Community, education, ideas, resources, coaching, software, class, instruction, blueprints, spreadsheets, equations, all the benefits of the program. I want you to start getting the benefits of the program just like me. So come be my guest, come to the workshop, see what's happening. And
If you're local to Denver, I'm hosting a property tour at my other project. I can tell you quickly about that as well this afternoon at 2:30. But I can tell you real quick right now that is a what they call a BRRRR, a buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat model. And that will be a return of equity of about double the money that we put in, give or take, depending on holding costs. But we got into that mid-September. We bought it all in. It's 630 in rehab budget, or acquisition costs, rehab budget, etc. It's a 395 purchase price. I got it from a wholesaler. They got paid like 25 grand on it, which is nice on them because they didn't have to do any work. But I'm here. We're gonna renovate it. We're also converting the garage into an ADU, so it'll become a 3-bed 1-bath into a 5-bed 3-bath. And we'll be doing a combination long-term, mid-term, short-term rentals in that one. But along the way, we're all in. The investors are all in combined for, I believe, around 200 grand, and we'll be able to pull out another 200 grand on top of it in profit. So that's where I got the 100% return on equity, and it's a matter of 4 months project. I'll be wrapping up this coming month.
wow, holy moly.
Yeah, I've been busy, so I haven't been marketing too much, but there's a little bit.
Well, definitely be making some videos and some content about it, so you can put it up on different channels and different spots where people can see it, get the attention. Because I mean, that is, folks, between hearing Richard's story and Earl's story, that is enough stories to go out there for the next year and do marketing. I don't memorize 1,000,000 stories or 1,000 or even 100 stories. I got like 5 that I pull from. And if you find a person and then you go right to the event, but you don't tell a story, you skip the story, then when that last minute distraction comes to watch that movie or go to the bowling game or play whatever and not go to the event, and you're missing a story, it's an uphill battle. That story is what anchors people to why they should come do the next thing. So don't skip that step. Find the people, tell the story, build for events, then follow up. All the pieces are there. It's exciting times, folks. So anyway, build your list. Build your list. I really like what Richard mentioned here. If you haven't gone through this, just real quick, if someone puts $26,000 on a HELOC at 5% interest, it's approximately $200 a month, maybe a little bit less. Okay, if someone puts 26,000 into their 401k, or gets it out of the 401k loan, they're also going to pay about 5%. It'll be approximately $500 a month for them to use a current 401k. Life insurance could actually be zero depending on how you structure it. Credit cards could be anywhere from about $200 to approximately $600 a month. Right, so the in-house financing is already $600 a month, but it's $9,000 more and takes 4 years to pay off. So these, oh nice, you put life insurance on here twice. You must make sure you guys use the life insurance. There's billions of dollars in cash value life insurance. Yeah, Deborah just put a 30,000 on a HELOC at 6%. Her payment's $150 a month. So there you go. There you go. Also, how many people forget that they can use crypto? They got all these different accounts growing, and but you don't get the same tax write-offs with crypto as you do with real estate. So you need to balance the different assets that you're holding and make sure to get some extra real estate. And I like Earl's approach. He's just going to keep buying the neighbors' houses,
I also sold my pieces of my current house and pulled out 100 grand in each in a matter of a couple days. Tell you more about that.
Is that
in case you
using
needed to
that
pull
other
money out?
website?
Yeah,
That website that you showed me?
I did. Yeah. On 3 of my houses, I pulled 100 grand each out to cash out the investors. And I did that in a couple days to a week at most.
Nice. Way cool, man. Well, it's working. It's flat out working. Okay, so remember to always book a meeting from a meeting and be the professional. So this is where closing this gap from where you are to where you want to be, going through all the dangers and the treacherous activities, and you could die on planet Earth. It's a dangerous place here. But the future you that wants to say thanks for investing, you're going to close that gap by becoming a professional. Becoming a professional. And what does a professional do? A professional is educated. A professional has goals. A professional uses a system. A professional has a calendar that tells them what to do, not their feelings. A professional has a target. A professional takes care of clients. So when I enroll a student, I think about it as a client. Okay, this old me was looking for a check from Renatus. The new me is a professional that has a list of clients that I take care of. And that's one of the big differences is this system as being the business owner, okay? It's also another way I want you to think about it is like an agency. Okay, if you have a marketing agency and you just service one client, and that client is Renatus. So your marketing agency, right? You imagine this, you just graduated college from the best marketing college, whatever, and now your job is to go get a client, and you land a contract with Renatus, and you call your mom. You say, "Mom, I just graduated college. I just got my first client. They are a nationwide award-winning organization, and they've hired me. They brought on my marketing agency to help them find more clients." If this is your mindset, that same mindset will work in your real estate as well. But if this is your mindset for your marketing, and this is how you're going to treat yourself as the CEO, right? You are your own CEO of a marketing agency that has a client that's #1 rated in their area. And now your whole job is to just put customers into the system. That is what will close the gap, is that kind of mindset. That will close the gap. That's what's going to do it. But if you keep treating it like an employee system or a self-employment system, you're going to stay poor. If you want to get rich, you got to think systems. You got to think owning the money. You got to think a completely different mindset. And close that gap. It'll work. There are people inside of Renatus making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in a year on the side while they're doing more real estate investing. All right, so something else I wanted to share with you real quick is your first 5 sales. Okay, your first 5 sales. Now, in order for you to get paid the big bucks in Renatus, you got to work on your first 5 sales. Okay, so you're brand new, you paid the $197, woohoo! You opened up shop, right? Your door is open for business. Your first 5 sales. It's Harry, Larry, Gary, Jerry, and Barry. I better not do that. I'll get them all mixed up. Let's do Alice, Betty, Cindy, Diane, and Earl. Or Evelyn, I guess. Whatever. A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So here's what Renatus has said. They have said, hey, guys, we will pay you 100% of the commission if you generate $50,000 in commissions as a benchmark. Okay. If you generate 50,000 in commissions, then you'll get 100% of the commission. But until then, you're going to share it. You're going to split it. So there's you, and there's your 5-star. So my 5-star is Richard. That's one reason why I asked him to be here today. I am some of your 5 stars, or maybe I'm some of your 5 stars, 5 stars, right? My 5 stars under you, or they're under me somewhere, and there's you. Doesn't matter. Maybe you're not even on my team at all. Doesn't matter because we're all on Bob Snyder's team. So here's how it's going to start out. Your first 5 sales. You start your new account 197. And you go introduce Allie to the system. Remember, you find the people, you tell the story, you build for bench, you follow up. Allie comes in, she says, cool, this is fantastic. It's only 26 grand. It's not 126 grand. It's not 26 grand a year, just one time. Guess what? We're doing a sale right now and it's under 21,000. Okay, so she joins. She buys our most popular package, which is the EPX. The EPX is $26,000. The commission on that, 100% payout commission, is 12,000. Now you don't get that 12,000 until you generate the 50,000. But here's how: we'll still split it with you on your way. So you, being brand new, you help Allie join. When the 12,000 commission gets generated, it's going to be assigned and split. You're going to get 4,300. And your 5-star is going to get 7,700. Chances are your 5-star is going to be doing some of the work, some of the conversations, some of the training, some of the onboarding, some of the all kinds of stuff. But this is how it'll split up. Okay. Through the last 150 years in America, this system is called the decentralized training system. I never realized how much I liked decentralized systems until I got to Renatus. This is a decentralized training system. It's been around for 150 plus years in America, working great. So Renatus decided to adopt it as their training model. And so what it does is it makes sure to incentivize the 5-stars to help the new people become even more productive, and everybody makes more money. The new person gets the training, the 5-star gets compensated, the company gets another customer, and the system repeats. So there's been a lot of thought and planning behind this. And so if you're ever like, well, why these numbers? Why this split? What's the motive behind it? It's to make sure everyone gets as much productivity and support as possible. Okay, so let's just keep a running tally on the side here. So number one, you got paid 4,300. Awesome. 2, 3, 4, 5. Next sale comes in, and now you're going to get paid 57. And your 5-star is going to get paid 63. You see how that works? Person number 2, Beth. And then Cindy comes in. You say, hey, Cindy, check this out. I found an amazing way to get into real estate investing. I just met this guy, Earl, who's also involved in the program. And what I learned is that there are ways to buy cash flowing property and get paid at closing to acquire the property, not just pay out. But guys, I want that, so I'm going to get started. So she decides, all right, she's in. Well, now at this point, you got another raise, and now you're getting 6,000. 6,000. Okay. So we got our 57 over here and our 6,000 over here as what's been paid to you. Now remember what you've generated, because this is something that we're tallying too. You've generated 12,000 and 12,000, and now on sale number 3, 12,000. Okay, well, let's go to sale number 4 for Diane Daisy Dixie. You're going to get paid another 6,000 on this one. Where's my green? Here we go. 6,000, 6,000. Okay. And another 12,000 on the table, another 6,000 in your pocket over here. Well, at this point, these 4 sales is 48,000. Okay. And if you notice right here, it's a 50-50 split. 50-50, 50-50. Okay. Well, you only have to split the first 50,000. So on the next sale, Earl or Evelyn or what's another E name? I'm drawing a blank on E names.
Evan.
Edward, Evan. Thanks, guys. I'm comfortable. Elena. Eleanor. Now we're rolling. So when Elena, Eleni, Evelyn, Earl's order comes in, that 12,000 that gets generated still gets split up, but this time only 1,000 goes to your 5-star and the remaining 11,000 will go to you because only 2,000 of that 12,000 was needed to get you to your 50,000. And of course you were splitting that remaining 2,000 was split 50-50. So 1,000 and then 1,000, but then there's still another 10,000 left over, which gets added to you, making 11,000 in your world. So not only did you surpass the 50,000 in training, right? This is just your first year of training. These are just what we call training sales. Oh, funny line. Training sales. We have a company system set up so that while going through training, you will still earn. What is this number here? 12, 22, $33,000 in your training. Well, how much is it to join the program? It's only 26,000. It's only 21,000 during the sale. Now that you've gone through that experience as you, the new 5-star, let's say you go get F, G, H, I, and J all on board, because now not only are you a proponent of the system, but you're a full-on believer. Well, there's no more training commissions to give up. It's just you now. So now you're going to get 12,000. Oh, he really likes to do that. You're going to get 12,000 here, and 12,000 here, and 12,000 here, and 12,000 here, and 12,000 here. So your next 5 sales is going to pay you 60,000. So now here you are as a brand new student in your first year. Let's say you helped 10 new students all join in the program. How much did you get paid on your first 10? In your first 10 students, how much did you get paid?
After your 5-star, 120,000.
Well, my question is including.
Including. Okay, sorry. I got
Including-
excited.
Yeah, well, you know where you're headed, right? 5-star is just step 1. But including the training sales plus the 5 others, so 10 new students, how much are you going to get paid in this program?
That 93,000.
93,000 big ones. How many houses could you buy with 93 grand? Right? If you're doing a subject to deal, a seller finance deal, you're doing a mortgage swap, you're doing a lease option, you could buy easy 1 house, 2 house, 3 houses. Earl saying, hey, if you know what I know, I'll turn that 93 into 193 and buy 10 houses. See, like part of part of your brain expansion is you don't even know what questions to ask or how to apply your creativity because you're still stuck in that 9 to 5 W2 K-12 brain model that kills creativity. So you get 93 big ones, and all you had to do was the people side. Find the people. As an ICM, you're just finding people. The company, HQ, is still responsible for product, customer service, accounting, fulfillment, development, process, payouts. They have a much bigger workload, much more liability risk than what we do as ICMs. So do you see why we're so excited about this program? And the person, think about this. We got Earl here. We've been highlighting Earl because he's awesome. But think about the person that found Earl, right? That person went onto a website, just a chat forum, and said, hey, I noticed you are interested in this area, Denver. Why don't we meet up and I'll show you what I'm doing? And what did you guys meet up at, like a donut shop or at the park or at the office?
No,
Where'd you guys
we
meet?
met at your fancy tower building, Country
Oh,
Club
nice.
Towers 2 and 3 in one of
Just
the
just by
guest
the
room, I
pool
believe,
or in the
space
lobby
pool.
or something like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sweet. So that's it, right? We're just inviting people to come and just have a quick conversation. So Earl decided, sure, I'll show up and see what you guys have to offer, and made a little introduction. And he came to a meeting. He saw the pitch. Hey, it's 20-something thousand. And he goes, well, if this is really what you say it is, then I'm in. Not only am I in, but I'll bring somebody. And so Martin is a person who found Earl. So Martin got paid for finding Earl. Now, who's the big winner? Okay, who's the big winner here? We got Martin and we got Earl. Martin found Earl, and Martin got paid $12,000 for Earl's enrollment. But what did Earl get? House after house after house after house after paid to close, getting paid, raising capital, cash flow, rentals, equity, net worth, passive income, new lifestyle. Who's the big winner?
Looks like Earl did okay.
Right. Now, in the short term, it looked like Martin, right? Because Earl had to spend money and Martin earned money. But we understand that this is a long game and they're both winners. But I want you to have that mindset, right? Martin made sure that Earl knew about the program and didn't just say, I'm doing real estate. Good luck with your life. Said, I'm doing real estate. Come with me. And if you like it, great. And if you don't like it, that's great too, because I'm still going to do it. And of course, Martin was enrolled by John, right? John's over here. John, and when Martin enrolled, John got 12 grand. But you know what? Martin also built his own portfolio of cash flowing real estate.
I live in one of them. We co-own it.
Oh, it's a beautiful system, right? And I enrolled John. So here's Grandpa Huggins over here. And I got 12 grand for enrolling John. But guess what John got? Out of the rat race with cash flowing rentals. My houses are getting crazy over here. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to receive benefits, if you want to receive, you got to give. Okay. And we're going to end with a little exercise that has completely changed my life. I try to teach it to as many people that will listen over and over, because part of it is not just what you think, but how you feel. Your life is a culmination of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your beliefs, all into this big pile. And if you start to label things in your life as good, bad, right, or wrong, you miss the point. You start to label, you start to judge, you start to separate. So let's not play that game. Instead, I'm going to share with you what was given to me by my 5-star, or my enroller, because Richard's my 5-star, but my enroller, she wasn't 5-star, so I got coded to Richard. Here's what she taught me. Her name is Jody. She's amazing. Jody Hill. So grateful for her. She taught me this. She said, Michael, there's 3 rules I want you to play this game by, because if you don't, oh, there we go. If you mislabel, you misjudge, you get this part wrong, you're going to have an uphill battle. It's not going to be fun. I'm like, okay, I'm all ears. Now, she had also built up her own portfolio of rentals. I think she had 7 rentals at the time I met her. And she was out of the rat race. Her rentals had paid for her expenses. So she said, number 1, Michael, as you're on this new journey as a new ICM, a new Renata student, as a new person with a new fresh outlook on life, number 1, whatever is offered, take it. Whatever's offered, take it. What the heck? What do you mean? And she goes, well, here's what happens. Because of the social training that we've all experienced in this country and in this culture that we're in, most people have this better than, worse than, mindset. I'm better than you, I'm worse than you. I'm better than you, I'm worse than you. That mindset is short-sighted, not true, hurts people, hurt yourself. And so she was saying that whenever things come up that are offered, now sometimes the universe will just unfold it to you. Other times it'll come through a person, or it'll be a finding of some sort. You never know. Like you go buy a house at an auction and you find all sorts of crazy stuff. Or you do something for somebody and they want to give you something. No, let's say I gave my neighbor a ride to town, whatever. Okay, and she says, "Here, Michael, let me give you the $10. Let me give you $10." I said, "No, I was going to town anyway. It's all fine. Just get in the car, come with me. It's all fine." And she wants to offer me the thing, and then I reject it. No, don't give me that. I have now broken the give-receive cycle. Okay, on planet Earth, there's something called the give-receive cycle. Animals do it, plants do it. The whole system is all about give and receive. So if I block the giving, I'm also blocking the receiving, and I've just broken the cycle. So why would I block? Why would I block? Because part of me doesn't want to feel in this better than worse than. I don't want to feel pity. I don't want to feel like I can't afford the $10 in gas or whatever, so I'm going to block it. Now, this could be a car. It could be a house. It could be $100,000. It doesn't matter. The idea is whatever is offered, take it. That doesn't mean you need to keep it or love it or obsess over it, but receive it, take it, make it yours. Now, what can I do if I receive that $10, but I didn't want it? What could I do? I could then give it away and keep the give-receive cycle going. That's the thing. We got to keep that give-receive cycle going. So if you can take it, then you can also give it. But if you block it, you've just totally changed your vibe, your energy, and everything about it. So whatever is offered, take it. Number 2 is whatever is suggested, do it. Now, of course, if it's honest, legal, ethical, right? I need to put that caveat in there. But when you're in this culture, in this community, if you're using this program even half to the potential of what it's designed for, you're in here every day. You got on a coaching call, a study group, a workshop, a property tour. You're in your classes. You're doing the assignments. You're going to be doing this stuff every day, and there's going to be suggestions every day to do something, to make a list, to make a phone call, to put in an offer, to watch a class, to stay up late, to make a vision board, set a new goal, make a new friend. There's going to be a lot of suggestions, and you need to do them. In this community, if Bob Snyder makes a suggestion, you do it. Richard does, you do it. That's how I was able to transform. That's how Earl was able to do it. He took a bunch of classes, a bunch of things that were suggested, and he went out and did them. But then here's the magic, is number 3. And this is what raises your vibration. Whatever the outcome, declare it perfect. Whatever the outcome, declare it perfect. Right? You didn't know it was going to happen like that. But you don't get to call it good or bad, right or wrong. Because it happened, it's perfect. If it didn't happen, it wouldn't have been perfect. But it's happening is evidence that it's perfect. Okay, so whatever's offered, take it. Whatever's suggested, do it. Whatever happens, declare it perfect. This is called the perfect game. This is called the perfect game. And one antidote to your poverty is to play the perfect game. Some of you are wondering how to get out of this negative vibration mess of no results. You take action, but no results. You take more action and no results. It's because you take some action and then you block the give-receive cycle, so no result. You don't want to take that thing, whatever it is, because you don't want someone to look down on you. You don't want to feel less than. So you block the give-receive cycle. You just hosed yourself. You just made it way harder for yourself than you needed to. And then, of course, with the suggestions, whatever suggested, do it. That could be in the form of telling your story. That could be in the form of creating an invitation. That could be in the form of shooting your TV, getting rid of your Xbox. That could be in the form of creating a big visual aid in your house to help you pull through your goals. Whatever's suggested, do it. And whatever the outcome. Okay, if it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, that's okay. You still need to say out loud and with a smile, perfect. And it will unlock a level of, I'm going to call it magic, because we call things that we don't really understand magical, right? Although there is logic and a system behind all of it, it's still hard to understand, so we're going to call it magic. This is what opens up the magic in your life. The perfect game is what did it for me. And I've been working with Earl for several years now, since 2019, and I've reminded him of the perfect game over and over, to where now he does property tours. He never used to do property tours. And I said, hey, Earl, would you mind doing a property tour? First time, and he was like, who, me? There's got to be someone more experienced. And then he remembered the perfect game, because whatever the outcome, it's still going to be perfect. And now he's been doing property tours for years. And I'm sure that some of those property tours led to more capital raises, more partnerships, more opportunity. And you put yourself in that situation. So, Jody Hill, if you ever find this recording, I just want to let you know, how much I love you for teaching me how to stay in my abundant mindset. And I hope that lesson transfers to all of you here live, for all of you catching the recording. And it's been a fantastic day. What a fun way to spend a little bit of my Saturday with you guys. There's a lot of work to do. Earl just put in the chat here, if you want to watch the live stream of the property tour, that'll be at 2:30 Mountain Time. So in just a little bit, you guys will be able to join in and watch that, get more details. You know what? Maybe even put a guest on it. Say, hey, I'm going to go watch this property tour. And I would love for you to hear what I'm working on and hear from one of my colleagues, right? Earl's one of your colleagues, how he got paid to buy a property. Yes, you heard that right. Got paid to buy a property. If you'd like to see the details of how that worked, join me at 2:30 on Mountain Time on the live stream, and he's going to walk us through the property and the numbers. Perfect. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, you guys have been awesome. Before we wrap up, I just want to make sure you guys know that I have a team organized website. Okay, it's called We Create, you guessed it, Real Estate Investors. We Create Real Estate Investors.com. We Create Real Estate Investors.com. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up for text reminders. Austin, I know you were asking about that earlier. Text reminders. Okay, you can do the morning team call links. Are all in there. And announcements and all different sorts of stuff is in there. So we create realestateinvestors.com. It's a great way for all of us to stay organized and connected. Connect to us. Stay in touch, because there's a lot going on, and we are millionaire makers in this company. We help people become millionaires through our education, and so while you're helping others do that, that can happen for you too. So we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna play a generally speaking from Mr. Snyder on the way out. So let me just switch over to the Chrome here.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Michael, when can we get this recording?
Hey, Snyder again, heading down the road in the Rover, doing a little generally speaking topic. Today we want to talk about the future of real estate. Real estate. Let's have a little discussion about forecasting real estate trends and what we have to look forward to. There's a few things that drive real estate values, but the number one thing out there is always going to be demand. It is. I mean, if people don't want your property, they're not going to buy your property. And suddenly, you know, we're in a buyer's market, not a seller's market. If there are more people out there looking for a home than there are homes to look for, then guess what? You're going to find appreciation, you're going to find demand, and that's going to drive prices. What drives demand? Obviously, population growth has a significant impact on that very thing. Right now, we're sitting at about, oh heavens, 327 million people in the United States. That's a lot of folks. They all need housing. Remember, it's one of those basic needs that humans require. So, because they all need housing, we can provide that. But as the population continues to swell and grow over the next 20, 25, 30 years, as it's projected to do, the need for housing is going to increase at an ever-increasing rate. There's only a couple of things that really influence the demand and impact, you know, the desire for individuals to own a home, and that is affordability. You got to take a look at affordability. As interest rates go up, what happens? Well, that means the payment goes up. People really don't care about what something costs. They care about what they've got to pay for it on a monthly basis. Payments drive buying decisions in real estate more so than listing prices do. So as interest rates go up, then it pushes a lot of people out of the market because they just can't qualify for a loan. And that creates a correction, because if the folks that are first-time buyers can't get into a house, then that means that the next tier can't move into their second home, and the next tier can't sell their home to move into their third, and so on and so forth. And that hurts the luxury home market as you get to the top end. So it's a domino effect. So what we want to be aware of is where things are at. What is affordability in your market? Because there may be huge population growth, there may be fantastic demand, but if the average Joe's going into their lender and saying, hey, here's my house, here's what they're charging for it, and here's what I can pay, they're gonna set them on a different path. Yeah, there's gonna be a new reassociation that, I'm sorry, but we can't give you a loan because you don't qualify. And then we see the domino effect work in the other area. We're going to see a correction, just as we did coming out of the Great Recession. We were in a massive housing shortage. Many areas of the country still are in that housing shortage. But as interest rates go up, it's going to affect affordability. And as more and more individuals cannot afford the prices that are being asked for, then the market has got to correct. Now, I'm not seeing that the market's going to dive like it did back in 2007 and 8 and 9. What I am seeing is it's just going to be a healthy correction, which is what we want to have happen in real estate. So you don't want a stagnant level market. You want a market that's either going up or coming down, because that creates opportunity for a savvy real estate investor. As the market corrects, that means there's going to be more wholesale buying opportunities that are available to us. That's huge. That means that you're going to be able to go out there and acquire property at greater, deeper discounts. It also means that we're not going to see material costs driving up every single month, which affects, your projections on what it's going to take to fix and flip a property and get it ready for resale. You're not going to have to worry about labor costs going up. You're not going to have so much competition out there for your labor. So you'll be able to get people into your homes to do the work so that you can turn them around in a quicker fashion to ensure higher profitability and to allow you to do more deals. So there's a lot of wins with the market taking a little bit of a cool down for real estate investors. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the market in terms of buy and hold. See, real estate helps you to become recession proof if you buy property and you hang on to property. How so? Well, rents are one of those things that pretty much go up and down with inflation. Now, that means that if you've got a rental property and you've got individuals who want to live there, they're going to pay for that because they can't afford a house. So if they can't afford a house, then their only other option is to jump in and rent from you. I love the fact that with rental property, people work all month long to ensure that you're the first one paid. I also love the fact that, we don't have to lose the buying power of our dollar in a high inflationary period of time because rents will continue to go up with inflation. In some areas where there's higher demand and there's good job growth and there's better incomes, you'll see that rents and real estate go up significantly higher than inflation. So now you're ahead of the curve. But here's the other thing. As time goes on, that flatline mortgage you're generally keeping will then eventually get paid off because you're going to see that your principal continues to pay down, and you're eventually going to get into a position where that property's paid for. What are you going to do with paid for properties? What happens if the market totally and completely crashes and there is a correction on rents? It's not a big deal, because the good news is all you're going to do is make a little bit of an adjustment so that you can get tenants in your homes, and then you've got cash flow coming in on a monthly basis. You want to be recession proof, you want to be cash flow rich, you want to make sure that you have a lasting legacy that you can pass on to the next generation. Buy property and hold it. Well, in Renatus, we teach you how to do all of the above. Cash flow is king. If you want to enjoy a certain level of freedom, the only way to achieve that is you're going to have to get some residual income coming in, and the best way to do that is by buying and holding property.
That's right. You heard it. All right, folks. Have a fantastic Saturday. Thanks for joining. And once we get this posted, tag some friends in the link so that they can get the reminders too. And we will see you guys on Monday for another episode. Okay, have a wonderful day. Go do some work. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, I do like that Zoom link where it puts everything on your calendar. That's easy.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Go to the website.
What
Subscribe.
I was looking for, reminders.
Perfect. Awesome. Glad I could help, and wonderful to see you all. We'll see you soon.
Have a good one.